Why is the difference between 90 and 100 on this computer so whack? I swear I did not change the volume of my voice at all. But if I turn this up by literally 10%, it goes from almost nothing to completely blasting. Okay, well I guess I'll do 90 then.
Yeah, I don't know. Audio is weird and bad.
Audio's weird.
And you would think after how long?
I don't want to talk about it. I don't know, like 3 years.
Yeah, it's still like an everlasting problem that like I feel like everything I do to make myself not blow out a microphone, like it amounts to nothing. My voice levels are just insane.
It's 4 years actually.
4 years. That's good. That's a nice solid even number.
Welcome to Direct to Video. VHS?
VHS?
A podcast where we pair movies like fine wine. I am your host, Tony Robusto.
I am your host, Andy Reyes.
Wow, you just got so much louder for me. I don't know why. I just have.
This is what I mean. I don't know what it is about my voice. It like plays havoc with microphones.
Today we watched Pixar's newest masterpiece, Lightyear.
Well, yeah. That's I just like vibrated in my seat. We certainly did watch it. It was a movie. It was 105 minutes long, which is honestly, it felt longer than that.
Yeah, it did. Which isn't altogether like a negative.
No.
But
there are some parts of this movie that feel like they take a long time, and that's good. And there are some parts of this movie that feel like they take a long time, and it's bad.
Yes.
I am so confused. This movie hits weird, and I think part of that is because and I guess you are also by extension, so I don't know if you feel this way. Like, I'm one of the OG Toy Story kids.
Okay. I can tell you the main reason this movie hits so weird for me personally.
Yeah.
There is a sentence at the opening of this movie.
Yes.
That turns it into the most buck wild movie imaginable.
Mm-hmm.
And the sentence claims... See, Andy had said that this was the movie that told the story of the man that the toy was based on.
That was the line that was given to reporters. That was the infamous tweet.
Early development, right? And that was back when all we saw was like Buzz Lightyear in a normal spacesuit, and we were like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Which he does wear throughout most of the movie, which is baffling. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But no, what this is, supposedly, is the movie that Andy, the kid in Toy Story, watched in 1995, which for a few reasons is crazy, that then became his favorite movie, and his favorite toy was based on, and the video game was based on, and the Zurg toy was based on.
That's one of the wildest parts. That toy has a cape.
Oh, that toy has a skirt?
Yeah.
And Zurg was walking around with big giant robot feet, and I was like, where's his skirt?
Where's the cape?
He's supposed to float, I think.
Yeah, like...
What it felt like. This is a movie you get when a character or a franchise has been around for almost 30 years.
Yeah.
This is a reimagining of what Buzz Lightyear is. And that would be fine, except that they then claim that, no, this is the original.
This is the one that Andy watched. This is going to be weirdly meta for me because I also go by Andy, and...
It's troubling.
But the fact that this is in the fiction that this movie has set up, one, it's a live-action movie, I assume, because... Like,
I guess?
No stylization, like, is done that makes me think that this movie, like, it's the same animation. It's Pixar's animation style, right? Like, that's how they animate movies. And,
so in universe, it's probably live action.
Yeah, it's like, the idea being that, like, this is the Star Wars, quote unquote, of the Toy Story world, right? Which would be a little rough because it's not as good as Star Wars. It's not that good. But also, like, that's...
More lesbians, though.
That's kind of smart, because also more people of color, which is nice. It's so weird, though. Like, Because
sorry, no, let me stop for a second. This movie was supposedly released in 1995.
Yeah.
And there is a black gay woman, and I just don't buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it does do the fucking Disney thing. It does do the Disney thing of introducing this very cool black gay woman and then killing her off so that we don't have to think about how gay people are a thing. But even that amount, it's just taken us as a society so long to get there. Is Toy Story's society just like that much more accepting of people?
It's just a better society. Well, I mean, part of it is just like the reality of like making that movie today. They've made a lot of choices that I think come from a place of like, well, we want to be supportive, we want to be diverse. But the reality is that when this franchise was like imagined way back in 1995, like black people don't exist in that movie. I don't think you really ever get like any hint of a person of color until Toy Story 3. That's not coming from a place of like, you know, overt like racism, right? Like I'm not saying that the people who made Toy Story are racist. I'm saying that they weren't diverse and that those conversations weren't happening at the time.
What Toy Story is really a conversation about white kids growing up, because in Toy Story 2, there's a big thing about how, like, it used to be Westerns were huge, and that strikes me as a very, like, white person thing to be huge.
Mm-hmm.
And then space stuff was huge, and, like, similarly, you know, obviously you don't have to be white to be obsessed with space, but, you know, for a long time, astronauts were white people, you know, and so it has that same feeling of it's not like they came at it from a negative perspective. They just literally didn't think in that way. And this movie does try to make you think in that way, and at least that's something.
And that's fine.
My issue is it feels bad if a movie cannot stick the landing but tried to be inclusive, because it makes me feel madder that the movie wasn't as good. You know, if that makes sense. Like, I
get what you're saying. Absolutely.
I think the Buzz Lightyear movie we just watched, which I had a real problem with the female character in it, i.e. there only being one, I think that one was better.
And I think that's the big thing, is that, like, you look at the individual pieces of Lightyear 2022, and there's good stuff there. Uh-huh. Like, the art design is really good. The voice acting is largely competent. The, like, basic writing on the back of a notepad idea for the plot is pretty decent.
Mm-hmm. Oh, except for one thing that is my biggest issue. But keep going.
Yeah, we'll get there. But then the script hits you, and the things that the characters are saying hit you, and the movie happens to you, and it's just not good. Like, it's so weak. It's compared to the sum, like the sum of its parts is so much weaker than the parts. And you're just kind of left feeling like, why does any of this exist? Like, what is the purpose of this piece of media other than trying to remind kids that Toy Story matters? Because I'm almost 30, and like, this made me go, I don't think Toy Story matters that much. Like, and I grew up with that shit. That was my movie. I can recite that first Toy Story movie from memory to this day. I'm pretty sure I've watched it hundreds of times. That was my movie as a kid.
You can recite the bonus features to that movie.
That's right. We're at the very back end of the VHS. I watched the shit out of it, and I sat there watching this, and I was like, it's not that important, you guys. Like, it's good, and it was nice, but like, this movie has no identity of its own.
The only identity it has is in reflection of Buzz Lightyear. It's what it reminded me of, and this is going to be such a weird poll because it's been too long since these comics came out. But do you remember, they were very big for a little while in, like, indie circles. Do you remember the Flintstones comics?
No, I do not. I think I know what you're talking about, though.
So there were these Flintstones comics that came out that were basically, what if Flintstones, instead of being just like a goofy version of a modern sitcom, was an indictment of modern society?
I remember this now.
And it was really fascinating, and people, loved those versions of those characters, and I think part of the reason it worked is because those comics weren't very long running. They, didn't overstay their welcome, unlike the Scooby-Doo ones, wherein Velma started the zombie apocalypse, I think. But,
yes,
that's what this movie is. It's we are taking a well-known franchise and doing something weird with it to sort of give it some new life. And again, that would be fine, except that then they try to tell me that this is that original movie. And that doesn't make sense.
Part of the problem is it's too goddamn reverent, right? The reason that, the kind of the modern Archie comics that are also kind of doing something like that, or even Riverdale the show.
Riverdale the show is maybe the least reverent to its source material.
Exactly, and that's, if you're gonna do something like that, where you're I want to ponder, the Archie comics, I think, do this better, especially when, I think Chip Zdarsky was running them. He completely reframed those comics. They were in conversation with the old dime store magazine comics, and talking about Americana and what that even means today, and why do we still care about these characters? Why do we still care about there's a comic where they're isn't this diner so fucking weird? Why does this diner still exist?
Right, why do we hang out in a 50s diner?
Because it's trying to point out something about American culture and how we still cling to these symbols of the 40s and through the 60s for some reason, and what we need to figure out what that reason is, and that's really fascinating. And it doesn't come from a place of reverence. It comes from a place of this is a largely influential piece of mass media.
Right.
Why? Why do people care about Archie and Betty and Veronica and Jughead? And Scooby-Doo occasionally does the same thing. Why do people care about these characters? We need to be a little meta about this, because Scooby-Doo is so weird as a piece of media that's perpetuating. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles does this every other generation too.
Right.
This is Toy Story trying to do that. We're going to try to look back at ourselves, but the ground that is walked on is too hallowed. We can't be mean about it. We can't point out the ridiculous stuff about it. We can only try to patch over it, try to fix it.
I think that this would have worked better as a Woody's Roundup movie, because I bet you they would have allowed themselves to let that be silly. Except that I do think a Western is a way harder needle to thread.
Yeah, I mean, we've and also Westerns are an old genre, right? We've been making Westerns since the 1930s, and our relationship with the Western has already gone through every possible metatization and self-reflection, right? You have movies that are coming out that are based on movies that were based on movies that were based on movies at this point in the history of the Western, right?
I mean, Buzz Lightyear is based on Star Trek, right? And Star Trek's already a space Western. So
yeah.
So you do kind of wonder how deep the rabbit hole goes.
It's endless, right? That's kind of the thing about, what is it? No media is original or whatever. But this movie, unlike, I think, those examples, this movie is just so, it's devoid of purpose. Even the really, really weird, bad stuff that has come out of Riverdale the show, right? Or any other remake of a property that has happened, because that's what this is. It's a remake of a property, essentially, right?
It's a reboot. It is a hard reboot on Buzz Lightyear.
Hard reboot on Buzz Lightyear.
They held that power button for 15 full seconds.
They took out the cartridge, blew on it a little bit. They're we're not saving this run.
That was a decent joke. And that was the one thing that they did in that movie where I was that could have been in 1995.
Yeah, right. I definitely saw that and I was that's cute. That's fun. He never does it again, which is a shame. He should have done it one last time at the end. Yeah. I don't hate this movie. I don't think there's enough there for me to hate it. But I found myself forgetting about it as soon as it was over.
So, let's talk about it. This movie came out in 1995, quote unquote.
Buzz Lightyear is a space ranger on board the Turnip, a massive research vessel that is, I don't actually know what it's doing. It's going somewhere.
Here's the thing. I don't think they ever say. The turnip landed for research reasons on this planet, which was not its original destination.
Yeah, this was a detour.
Yeah, they were just going to go check out whatever this was. Seems hugely unnecessary. They should have taken like a smaller craft to land on the planet or something.
That is such a dangerous detour, right? Like, space is a scary place. You don't just land your whole fucking ship on a planet you don't know anything about.
And this, as I talk about it, it kind of happens immediately, but this isn't Star Trek, which you don't need it to be, I guess, but I always imagined Buzz Lightyear to be Star Trek. He always had like a new adventure every week. Hop from planet to planet, you know?
Yeah. Like, even the relationship of that character, right? Like as a quote unquote space ranger. And also, like, Zurg is clearly like Borg, right? Like, there's just a lot there. This movie is definitely wants to be more like Star Wars, which is weird.
They leaned away instead of leaning in, and that was a strange choice. Especially since we just watched a movie where they just made it Star Trek.
I wonder why, right? Like you're Disney, you own Star Wars. You don't need to make another Star Wars style movie. Disney doesn't have anything like Star Trek under its belt, except for maybe WALL-E?
But at the end of WALL-E, they all come back home anyway, so...
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, this could have been like their way of like expanding more into that more optimistic style, like sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they hard like go back onto the freeway to take another exit is weird.
It's
because it happens like 2 minutes into this movie. They land on this planet. Buzz Lightyear's doing his little monologue. He gets made fun of. You've seen this in the trailer.
He still loves the monologues, which is good. He does say ground seems a bit unstable, and he'll say something else that's a direct quote from Toy Story.
Yeah.
On the one hand, I found it charming, but as I kept watching the movie, I thought, oh no, he said the Toy Story quotes, but do you know what he's not going to say? Any of the Buzz Lightyear lines that come out of the Buzz Lightyear toy.
Yeah.
He doesn't say any of them. He doesn't say there's a secret mission in uncharted space. He doesn't say Buzz Lightyear to the rescue. He doesn't do any of that.
It's because it's too hammy, right? Like, if this was like, here's the thing, and I think this is a thing that we haven't really stated. This isn't a movie for kids, oddly enough. I don't think any kid would give a shit about this movie. Not enough happens.
They might like some aspects of it. It's more, and this was honestly my reaction to the trailer too, is it feels like an older sci-fi movie. In that, like, in the 50s and 60s, sci-fi movies were not really aimed at kids.
Yeah.
They had these, like, really high-concept ideas about, for instance, what happens if you go near the speed of light and lose years off of your life.
Oh my god, we're going to talk about
years
this.
Years off of everybody else's life.
I'm so fucking mad about this, but we'll get there.
Like, what happens to you psychologically if you do that? And this movie asks that question, and honestly doesn't do enough with it if it's going to ask that question. But that's heavy for a kid, you know?
It's so much of the old... I'm going to be... Disclaimer, I haven't seen Star Trek. I'm not a nerd. But like... Sorry. I haven't seen Star Trek. It wasn't a part of my life growing up. That was a joke, by the way. Like, I highly respect Star Trek and what it's tried to do. I've seen the new movies.
Also, Andy is a nerd. Don't let him...
I just happen to be...
a different nerd.
Yeah, I just happen to be, like, better. Better than the gods, maybe, even.
You watched the new Star Trek. You watched Star Trek Into Darkness, didn't you?
I watched Star Trek Beyond by myself in the theater. On Valentine's Day, when it came out.
Oh my god.
And I went to the ticket counter, and I was like, can I get a ticket to Star Trek Beyond? And the guy was like, 2 tickets? And I was like, no. one ticket, please. And he was like, are you sure? And I was like, I'm not going to go ask somebody right now, my guy. The movie starts in like 5 minutes.
He was just trying to be a good wingman.
Yeah, but Star Trek spends a lot of time, especially the old Star Treks, just talking about what it's talking about. Like, the questions, characters will, in the fiction, say the moral that they're trying to learn. And discuss it with each other. They'll bring up different viewpoints. They'll have a thorough conversation. This movie never does that, but it always feels like it's about to.
There is a therapist cat who probably should have brought some of this stuff up. He's also the best character in the movie.
That cat never does therapy, and I am furious about it.
Furious. Anyway.
One of the biggest things about this movie that's so annoying is that it'll bring up a question, and all the characters will sit down and look thoughtful and be like, oh, this is such a hard question. And then we move on to the next scene, and they don't talk about it. And they don't talk about their feelings about it. It's just like, and then we never bring it up again. It doesn't come up.
So Buzz Lightyear and his boss / best friend,
Alicia Hawthorne.
They're going into this jungle. Buzz is talking about how he doesn't need anybody else, and he's why rookies dragging him down, stuff like that. Buzz has both a gun and a laser sword, and he should not have either of those things. I realize that this movie doesn't want to be as camp as it needs to be, but I don't understand why they think a laser on your wrist is more camp than a laser gun. Because he has a laser on his wrist, and then later, he'll just strap the gun to his wrist like that's the same thing. Like then you would make a toy that just had a little light there instead.
They are fighting so hard not to make it look like remotely anything like the toys that they designed like 30 years ago.
Which is so strange. It's a good design.
It's iconic as shit. And like the sword is such a weird one too, because he pulls out this sword and I was immediately like, they have machetes? Why?
Yeah, it's a machete, but the edge like gets electrical.
Yeah, it's a vibroblade or something.
Yeah, it's a little bit like you know those robots that General Grievous has?
Yeah.
It's a little bit like those guys.
And I was like, all right, a machete's weird, but okay, maybe like that's as. And then he pulls out a gun, and I was like, all right, well, what are we doing here? Like, the toy never came with a gun.
It's so odd. No, do you know what the toy came with? It came with a belt that lets you float. And you know what? That's not in this movie.
Oh, that's right. Also, they changed the button, the big button on the chest. That's like,
oh, that was the worst part.
We're skipping all over the place, but I do want to talk about just like all these changes that they've made because that button.
Let's talk about the design changes to Buzz.
So the button in the movie is the thing that like deploys the jetpack and the wings, and like this is how I fly, right? And you know,
right.
You get that scene where he falls. But then in this, he's like, this is the surrender lever, which is like, one, nonsense. That's not what it is.
For one thing, it's very not cool. For another thing, it's a pull cord instead of a button, which seems weird. And third thing, this quote-unquote surrender button, it inflates you like a raspberry. Like you're surrendering to the forces of, like, hitting a wall on the highway or something. Like, it's just a bunch of airbags.
If it was like, hey, this pull cord activates a cushioning device for if you're falling from a great height, like say space, that would make sense. That I would be like, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, maybe they don't have the jetpacks yet, so this is their solution.
But no, it's not that.
Also, Buzz Lightyear in this fucking movie is incredibly averse to pushing anything that vaguely resembles an eject button.
Yeah, which is weird because apparently the coolest thing you can do in this universe is push the eject button.
You push the eject button and you become the Buzz Lightyear toy that we want.
Right, you become Buzz Lightyear. Anyway, so
Buzz and Alicia are on this planet. It's a living planet. It's like living vines. The planet is just like constantly attacking everything, and they try to get back to the big turn-up ship to fly off, but Buzz refuses to accept help and crashes a little bit. Not even like a lot. He crashes
only
a little
bit, but in a way that fucks up the ship beyond repair.
It's a bad look.
Because it destroys their magic crystal, of which I guess they only have one, which seems like a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
Their magic crystal that lets them go into hyperspeed. And this is what the entire rest of the movie is going to be about. Which is itself kind of fascinating, but I don't know if it's a good idea, you know? So then we cut to a year later, and my first issue was like, wow, these guys are good at their jobs. Everybody but Buzz is exceptional at their job.
These fucking scientists and engineers, like, holy shit, they have to be the best of the best. They move the big ship like 3 times over the course of this year montage. It's very impressive. They didn't need to.
They built what is essentially a city in a year.
At some point, Buzz tries to court-martial himself for his mistake, which is very funny. I did like that scene.
It was hilarious. If Star Command was more of a thing in this movie, I think I would have liked it a lot better.
And we'll get to that.
As far as I can still tell, Star Command is basically these 2 people.
Yes.
And then Alicia, I don't know, fucking builds it up from whoever else wants to join later, I guess. That's what it feels like, at least. But it's hard to tell because we don't get to see what Alicia gets up to.
Well, yeah, Alicia is such an interesting character.
Yeah, it's too bad we don't know anything about her.
But this next scene is possibly the saddest thing you could put to film, played to incredibly triumphant music. Because...
So
Go ahead.
When I saw the trailer, I thought this happened all at once.
Yeah.
And I can't have been the only one to think that. Because when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's an interesting story. But no. So Buzz shoots off into space to test the new fuel source. The fuel source breaks down at a certain speed, like 70% of light speed. Now, I do have one issue.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to... I could spend the whole of our time talking about this one issue, but I'm not going to.
Uh-huh. I might join you with that, so we have to be careful.
But he gets to 50% of light speed, pretty okay. Why don't they go home? If he could get to 50% light speed and just stay there, they could just take twice as long to go home. And if it was going to take them a few months to go home, it'll take them 6 months. If it was going to take them a few years, it'll take them 6 years. That's fine. I don't know if hyperspeed is faster than light.
It can't be. It can't be faster than light because they fucking measure it as 1c, which is just light speed.
Right.
They never attempt to go faster than that until the twist happens and we find out that somebody did. But also, these motherfuckers are scientists. They're engineers. They're space travelers. They've been traveling in space for God knows how long.
They're space travelers.
And they're fucking space rangers, and they don't take into account time dilation and relativity when they run this test. Everybody is surprised when Buzz comes back, and it turns out that 4 years have passed in real time, but for him it was only 4 minutes, because they didn't fucking think of relativity. That's the one thing you think of.
And do you know what was really irritating to me? I had assumed that if the fuel works, then, I don't know, maybe it takes you outside of space. You know, like...
Yeah. Like
hyperspace or Z-space or however, whatever other sci-fi things do this, right?
Yeah.
I thought it takes you outside of space so that you don't time dilate. But here's the thing, it doesn't, because he does get a perfect fuel source, which means this is a known thing. They all should have known about this already.
Here's my thought on it, is one, at the beginning of the movie, they are in suspended animation, right? They're cryostasis and shit.
And we never know why.
Because
if it's just to land somewhere and build a colony, then they did it, and Buzz can chill the fuck out.
And he can chill, yeah, and he can fucking calm down.
But I'm wondering, he tries very hard to get them home. Are there other humans wherever home is? Because that feels important.
Are they all the humans? This is the problem, right? Is why are they fucking out here? Why does and Buzz and Alicia keep talking about we're the only 2 space rangers on this entire ship. We want to go back and be space rangers again. And it's what does that mean? What does that mean, Buzz? Because we don't know anything about this world that you've left behind. The only thing we know is this planet and the fact that everybody else seems to be pretty cool with staying here except for you.
Well, I calculated it at the end, and he has been on the planet trying to do, or mostly off the planet, right? Flying around, trying to do his job for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And everybody else has been here for 60 years. So they've been they've gotten that first burst of we need to get out of here, out of their system.
Well, but you also mentioned earlier, right? Like 0.5 C isn't an insignificant amount of time. They could have put everybody back on the fucking turnip and launched at 0.5 C and just put them back in suspended animation.
That would have been fine. I mean, I don't think there's a number that would make it ridiculous. Because, like, there's no way it's going to take them 500 years to get where they're going and they can't do it in 1,000. Because that's just not feasible. That's not how they're moving.
They are, sorry, I just remembered. I think at the beginning of the movie, they are 47 light years away from wherever it is that they started.
Are they trying to go back?
I don't know. Okay, no, sorry. It's 4.2 million light years away from where they started.
I am sorry.
What are they doing? Like, it just doesn't make. And the last thing I want this to be is just us like talking about this forever. But this is the entire plot of this film hinges on us understanding this, and the basic math is so fucked up. And like they never talk about it. They never talk about it. Other than Buzz really wants to go home, but we don't know what that means.
Right, we don't even know what home is. God, it'd be great if they gave him a sibling, a parent, somebody, a wife, somebody back home.
Buzz Lightyear can't have a wife. That's weird.
No, Buzz Lightyear can't have a wife. He's married to space.
He's married to Jessie. But so this is a fundamental problem with the entire the entire point of this movie, which is what Buzz Lightyear wants doesn't make any sense.
And that will become a huge problem later, right? Because there's no good reason for him to want this, and there's this horrible montage. And I'm not saying it's horrible because it's bad, I'm saying it's horrible because it makes me, the viewer, feel bad.
Because there is literally an entire movie was written and directed by fucking Christopher Nolan about how this montage sucks and feels bad.
So it's Buzz Lightyear. He's doing this for, I said it was about like 2 weeks, right? And every time he goes out there, like 4 more years have passed. So like he goes out there and Alicia's pregnant. And he goes out there and comes back and, like, he sees her kid. And then her kid is graduating from college. And, like, he keeps...
They have a college now.
He keeps doing it. And he is... Yeah, they have a college now. He keeps doing it. And he is just, like, so beaten down by this experience and is so clearly awful. And we're seeing everybody else get on with their lives.
These bombastic fucking trumpets are playing the whole time, which is very, like, dissociating.
Yes, it's very odd. And then in the final scene, he comes back and Alicia has left a holographic message for him explaining that she's going to die before he gets here.
There is a movie that I don't recommend anybody watch, but if you are in the mood to see this done well and also see this be the focal point of an entire movie, I think it's called Voices from a Distant Star. It is this. But you know, it's doing its own thing. It was written and directed by Makoto Shinkai, who I believe was the Your Voice guy.
Oh,
or
okay.
Your Name. Sorry. Your Name. Which is fantastic also.
I wish I had just watched Your Name. I didn't know that was on the table.
Oh, yeah. But, like, this is the saddest fucking thing that can happen to a human being. Like, Buzz has made a sacrifice that no one asked him to make and has gained nothing from it. It does seem like they haven't made any progress in the 40 years he's been doing this.
Oh, except one person has made progress. So we need to introduce the best character in this movie,
Socks.
who is way overpowered. So actually, Socks is going to be... I love Socks as a character. I think he's a lot of fun. I think he's the only thing that breathes life into this movie.
Yes.
But there is one big problem with Socks, which is Buzz Lightyear hates autopilots.
Yes.
But Socks could totally fly a ship. And I don't mean to say that this is the only problem with Socks. What I mean is, later there's a joke about how the robots from the future can only say Zerg, but Socks can speak perfectly fine. So there's this weird issue of Socks being a sidekick character has made him more powerful than any other piece of technology. Socks is a robot cat, I feel like I should say.
He's a robot cat, he's a therapy cat, and he has a fully sentient artificial intelligence in the body of this robot cat.
He figures out how to make this Lightspeed fuel. He hijacks a spaceship at a later part of the movie. He can fix spaceships.
He overrides, and hacks into the entirety of, the colony's databases.
Socks is really good. Too useful. Do you know he's kind of like the robot that they gave Buzz as a sidekick in the other movie, except he never got broken and made lame.
Yeah, and they let him be cool and funny, unlike XR. Yeah, Socks is great. I think Socks usually has the best jokes, but also Socks as a character, because they're like a robot cat, doesn't need to have growth. Because Socks' character change happens within 2 minutes when Buzz is like, they are going to decommission you and take you away from me. Socks is immediately like, cool, I've gone rogue. Let's do this. We are criminals now.
Which immediately answers the question, why were they decommissioning?
Yeah, absolutely. Apparently all of and there was not gonna lie, there was a hot minute when I was like, oh shit, do you, I bet Zurg is gonna be
Socks
a decommissioned, a decommissioned Socks.
That would be great.
That would have been a better...
That would have been something.
That would have been a movie.
So yeah, they have to, because this new guy who's running the...
Yeah, Alicia's replacement.
Because this new guy doesn't believe in this flying off the planet anymore, he's weirdly dismissive of Buzz Lightyear, who is probably a hero. A legend, right?
I don't know, right? It's one of those things where they have made a society and a culture there that Buzz as a person has not interacted with at all.
I know, but that would sort of make him a legendary hero character to me. It's there's this guy, imagine if Buzz Aldrin was always I'm gonna keep going to the moon.
I'm gonna keep going to the moon.
Okay. I don't know, I feel like it could be something. But here's the thing, he's very dismissive about this. He doesn't explain his reasoning as to why they should not leave the planet.
I mean, Buzz never explains why they should, right?
Right.
So
this could be a fight. This could be an argument, which would be more interesting. But it's not.
They could talk about why they feel this way, maybe?
But they don't. And so Buzz just steals a ship with Socks. I do like that Socks being decommissioned is the thing that pushes him over the edge.
Socks is a straight up G. He was instantly ready to betray.
Yeah, ride or die.
And so they go onto the ship and they test out. Socks has figured out the perfect formula for making hyperdrive fuel, by the way. Buzz told him to work on it instead of giving him therapy for the last 40 years. And so they go into space, they test it, and they do it. They get to light speed. Yay. And they come back and 22 years have passed. The laser shield is up and running. Also, the colony has a laser shield now. Yeah,
because the plants kept breaking into the colony and grabbing people. And it was mostly fine, but you had to, be cutting down plants a lot.
Yeah, annoying, but I definitely get, if we can figure out a way that this doesn't have to be a constant problem, we're just going to do that.
If your commute could not be being dragged along the ground by grass, that'd be just wonderful.
Although it would be fast.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, they seem to move.
They're pretty smart. I can't believe they didn't try to do some sort of ecologically friendly integration into this planet's ecosystem, but whatever.
What's wild to me is actually, the more I think about it, the more it's why were those plants grabbing people? What was the other end of that plant? We don't find out.
Yeah, this is a living planet. What does it need us for? What is it? Where was it going to take Buzz and the Rookie had it been allowed to?
If there's just a big Audrey 2 head on the other side of the planet, that'd be great.
Oh, and then we'd have a musical. We'd have a fucking Disney movie. Buzz crash lands and is immediately intercepted by one of the most evil looking costumes I have ever seen.
We'd seen the Space Rangers or the Star Command. We'd seen the Star Command using these before when they attacked Buzz. But yeah, they're pretty spooky costumes.
It's straight up like, if you've ever played a cyberpunk game where you have, like, faceless Nazi cops, that's what these look like, and they're the good guys. Well, and they're not the good guys, but they're...
But they are! There's one scene where it's like, oh, maybe these are the bad guys, and then it's done.
And then, like, no, they're the good guys. They're called, like, the Z Squad or something like that, which is, like, why would you do that?
I assume they're the Z Squad because all the other squads have good letters.
A through Y have
they're
been
like
taken.
The last ones.
But I mean, it's there because you're supposed to be like, oh, are these gonna be like
working for Zurg?
But no, that's just, it's a lazy fake out.
No, this is some royal mystery tier.
Yes, absolutely. We find out that this person in this incredibly evil-looking costume is Izzy Hawthorne, Alicia's granddaughter.
Mm-hmm.
And Buzz is immediately like, great, this is awesome. Let's work together. And also, what is happening?
And what is happening is there's evil robots that just say Zurg. That's it. That's all we know.
Yeah. They showed up like a couple weeks ago, and we call them Zurg because that's all they say. And they have been attacking the colony since then, and we got stuck out here, and that sucks for us. But we have a plan to go up there, blow up the ship, and save everybody. And Buzz is like, fantastic, let's do this shit. But it doesn't go according to plan.
Can I say this? So my main problem with the Z Squad is that only Izzy is important to Buzz or the plot. And, like, as a character, she's the only one who's even a little bit interesting to me. But my main problem is it's been about half an hour, maybe a little more. We're like halfway through this movie before we meet Buzz's team for the movie.
Yeah.
And that's too long. We don't have enough time to get to know these characters and then go on a space adventure.
And the real fucked up thing is that we are still going to take the next 30 to 45 minutes left of this only 105-minute runtime. We're going to take another 30 minutes of it to try and do the, like, stock standard plot you would expect out of this cast of characters, which is Buzz doesn't believe in them. They let him down. He yells at them. Everyone's sad. He apologizes. And now we're a team and we get to work together, except actually we do that like 3 times.
There is an extremely, I would say, offended by the extremely ham-handed line, "We don't need you to save us, we need you to join us." Because I was like, you can't just tell me what you, like, you can't just wrap that up in a gift basket and just give it to me, movie.
Yeah.
You have to let the subtext be subtext little. And the thing that bothers me is that Buzz Lightyear of Star Command did this, and maybe did it better.
No, it definitely did it better, but, like, right? Like, that's
what's
the frustrating
weird about
thing.
it. People definitely didn't work as hard on that movie.
There's a little bit of freedom, right, that comes with, like, well, we're just making, like, a dumb Saturday morning cartoon. No one who matters, no one who has money is looking at this thing we're making and going, well, you can't do that. What about the brand?
And so they were allowed a little bit of freedom, and maybe it breathed a little easier. Also, this movie doesn't have aliens in it, and I don't know.
That's fucked up, right? Like,
that's weird.
But it does have a galactic alliance, apparently.
How? Where?
I haven't seen it. Prove it to me, the viewer, that this exists.
Zurg is also not an evil emperor. He's not.
He's like maybe an evil captain.
Tops. Yeah.
He's essentially like he's essentially just a pirate. He's just a pirate, but like he's different because he's from the future.
I don't know if you want to narrow in onto any of this team building stuff that they do.
I genuinely don't give a shit about it. It is not good. Like,
but like their ship blows up, they have to get another ship. They fly that ship, something, and that blows up. It's fine, whatever. And then Buzz gets kidnapped by Zurg, and everyone's sad. And this is the thing.
This is the thing that the movie's been leading up to, and it shouldn't have taken us this long to get here, but we need to talk about it now.
All right. Let's hit it.
Zurg reveals to Buzz that he is Buzz, but from an alternate universe where he successfully
So the difference is sorry, I didn't mean to take this away from you.
No, go for it.
So the difference is he did that final test correctly. He landed, he's like, I did it, I can finally get us home, and he is subsequently arrested by Star Command, except he's not, because he just blasts off and away and flies off again. Because he did steal their ship. And honestly, he should have been okay with the repercussions of that as long as it got his mission finished. That's why I thought we were doing, but it's not. So, he's so mad that he shoots off into space and goes so fast that he ends up in the future, finds this ship, this one, that's just, the inside of it's the Death Star, and the outside of it is a generic bad guy ship.
It is the most evil-looking Halo-ass ship I have ever seen. And he's like, well, I guess this is mine now.
He finds this ship apparently empty and just takes it?
I know I've already asked this question before, but what was it doing there? Why was it empty?
I want more of this stuff. It just all seems so stupid and coincidental. Because the Zurg armor is just a thing. By the way, all the robots say Zurg because they're trying to say Buzz, and you're supposed to believe that they can't say Buzz.
He says that. They can't say my name, so they just say Zurg. And I was like, what? Nothing in the words Buzz Lightyear has Zurg anywhere fucking near that fucking quadrant. You are so far away. This is the laziest excuse for this.
Yeah, no, it's miserable. So then his plan is he goes back in time. This is as far back as he can go because he broke his time stuff, his light speed crystal. And we saw the computer that had calculated it was broken earlier. Except that the cat's also a computer, and he figured it out once, so you would think he could just figure it out again. It's not.
He could have just figured it out again. It only took him 42 years or so. Like, you've been spending... Why hasn't the cat been working on this? You still have socks. Evil future socks.
Well, future socks.
Or future socks.
So... Future Buzz, or as I will call him, Zurg, because the movie has decided these are two different people, arbitrarily, and later Buzz is totally okay with killing him twice.
Man, Buzz is so quickly is like, yeah, I can fucking kill this guy. He's just me. And like, I get it. I'm there with you, but the movie again spends no time with this decision. It's just, well, this is where the movie... Listen, we have to kill evil Buzz for this movie to go anywhere. Also, nobody else figures out that that's what's going on.
It's kind of important that they don't, I think. My trust in Buzz Lightyear would erode immediately.
It's bananas that this movie gets away with and no one knows what actually happened. Buzz gets to just live with that until he dies. I almost erased the past, and then I killed myself and didn't.
So Zurg wants Buzz to join him because they have the same thing. They want to rewrite all of their mistakes. But Buzz is like, wait a second, but these people have had lives this whole time. And fucking yeah, they did, Buzz. I realized that 15 minutes into the movie. Where have you been?
Dude, there was a montage about it that you were a part of. You didn't realize it then?
It was so irritating that this is apparently the lesson he has to learn. Because, yeah, man.
And that's it. That's the big question of the movie. We're done. No other character growth happens to Buzz. He never even really, comes to accept rookies.
I guess the real question, the real message of the movie is that you have to, accept your mistakes, because everybody has a thing in their movie where they're like, oh no, I made a mistake and now I'm a failure. And somebody else has to be like, no, you're not a failure.
You have worth.
I guess that's it. But frankly, for a movie about, space fighting? That's...
yeah, and like defeating an alternate future version of yourself who's evil and watching your friend grow old and die. It's some real like 5-year-old kindergarten shit.
Yeah.
To be like, and also it's okay to make mistakes.
But yeah, Zurg is lame. Zurg is off model.
It's so close to being a good idea. And I get it. You couldn't make it his dad. Because, I don't know why you couldn't, but you couldn't.
Because they refuse to be that camp. They don't want to deal with it, but they should have made it his dad.
It should, and you guess what? That would have been another question that I wish I had the answer to. Like, what the fuck?
Do you know what happened? I had an amazing feeling in the first half of this movie. An amazing feeling. Where I was sitting here, watching Buzz's best friend get old and live a life entirely without him. And he was just right across in the apartment, and he never interacted with her because he was always shooting off into space. And I was thinking, this is some deep emotional shit. And later, Zurg's gonna show up. And they managed to ruin that feeling. I loved the idea of, like, this is the dumbest, like, this is the most miserable, saddest crap. And later
and at some point, an evil galactic emperor is going to show up.
With 3 guns on his hand.
And he's going to be like, I'm going to take over the galaxy, and that includes this planet. And it's like,
curse you, Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, how is Buzz going to get out of this one?
Right. I wanted the catharsis of, like, then this becomes a dumb movie.
You had that feeling of that one person who wanted to watch Godzilla on a plane, but accidentally watched a romantic comedy.
I am so psyched that you thought of that too. Because yes, it wasn't even a romantic comedy. It was like a family drama or something. It was like all these people being miserable. He's like, and also Godzilla's gonna show up. I want that. Is that so bad?
There was a moment, like, we were like 45 minutes from the end of this movie, right? Or 45 minutes into this movie, Zurg shows up for the first time. He sounds like the robot from the new Doom video game, which I was really into. And I was like literally sitting there like, how the fuck are they gonna how are they gonna explain all of this in 15 minutes? Especially when we've already wasted 30 minutes, like, having this awful team building exercise. They've bit off more than they can chew. And then the cop-out of, like, oh, I'm just you from the future, and I'm evil and nihilistic, and I don't respect human life. And it's like, nah, this isn't it. This is nothing. It's nothing.
Yeah, I literally just wrote boo in my notes.
I stopped taking notes because I was so miserable, and I was also eating ribs at the time, which is the real reason I stopped taking notes. But then when I was done eating ribs, I didn't start taking notes again. Again, there's so much potential, but the like bare bones script of this movie, the words that people are saying and the things that are happening are just so bad and boring, and they squander such a good opportunity. Zurg could have just been a crazy evil robot like the Joker.
It would kind of been a good moment to show you that, like, you know, Buzz is needed on this world.
Yeah, a person like Buzz is needed. We need people like this.
But instead it's literally just Buzz causes all of his own problems, which I knew from the beginning.
It's the opposite, too. At the end, I'm like, maybe we should get rid of Buzz, actually. Apparently, he can just turn evil at the drop of a hat. The moment he, like, forgets to tie his shoe this morning, he becomes Zurg.
Do you know who thought of that, though? Is the new commander of of the Space Force or whatever. He thought to himself, if I don't give Buzz something to do, he's going to keep shooting ships into the sun. So he tells Buzz to restart the Space Rangers with his new fun band, and he just sends them out into space.
Go protect the Galactic Alliance, which consists of us.
Mostly of us at the moment.
A slapdash colony on a single planet. But we're in space, so let's start. Every Galactic Alliance has to start somewhere.
Yeah. They start in space. It works.
And that's the movie.
I didn't think I was gonna agree with Tim Allen about this movie. I don't know if he commented on the movie itself, but yeah, it's not that good.
Here's the thing is, listen, Tim Allen being a part of this movie wasn't going to make it better. It just would have made Buzz sound like Buzz.
Chris Evans was doing a Tim Allen voice, though, which was a little weird. I thought he was just going to sound like Chris Evans.
Same. He does, but I will say, his Tim Allen voice in the first 5 minutes of this movie is a lot stronger.
It fades back.
Yeah. As soon as we finish the montage, he just sounds like slightly more baritone Captain America for the rest of the movie.
Which makes sense, because at that point, he's functionally Captain America anyway.
Yeah, but, like, why bother then? Like, why not just sound like you, man? Like you're not a voice actor, dude. Like, it's cool. You could just sound like yourself. There's, like, an interview where they're like, oh, we didn't want to use Tim Allen at all because we didn't want people to think about the Toy Story movies, which is the stupidest fucking sentence in the history of mankind. But also, it would have been so fun to have evil Buzz be just the Tim Allen voice. Just Tim Allen.
That would be kind of fun.
And I know why, and again, they can't do that because Tim Allen is like a weirdo now. But how great would that have been? The entire, like, Buzz Lightyear toy in the Toy Story franchise was created to be like a facsimile of like where children's media was trending at the time in the 90s. And like, Zurg making the I am your father joke was like, just like, again, it was a joke. Wrap up of the arc, but yeah, between him and other Buzz. Like, this is all ridiculous nonsense shit because this is a movie about toys struggling with feelings of insecurity and nihilism and figuring out how to get to the other end of that and believe in Christ or something. I don't know where I was going with that.
Okay. I was going to add obsolescence, but you went in a different direction.
No, but yeah, like the Toy Story movies, because they're so ridiculous, because these are just toys and they're feeling all of these feelings, and like these are very human feelings that like kids go through and adults go through, and like the movies don't really have clear answers on what you can do about it other than, you know, it's okay to feel this, and these are things you can do to like move past it. And like that, they really hit on something special there with that ridiculous juxtaposition that started with The Brave Little Toaster. And to see them then take that and try to make it a serious movie and fail so hard. This is what is the opposite of a grand slam? Like, this is a batter getting struck out, but the third strike was like a pitch straight to the nads. Like, it's such a failure.
That's not how baseball works.
No, it's not.
But yeah, it just feels bad. It feels bad to watch. And I honestly don't know who it's for. I assume it's for like a new generation of kids, but I don't think kids would enjoy it as much as they would if you just put on a Toy Story movie.
Yeah, why would and like if your kid doesn't give a shit about Toy Story, why would they give a shit about this movie? Like, there is so much science fiction content out there for kids.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this movie aesthetically, this movie looks pretty cool. It's like, it has that like crunchy tech that I like.
Sort of space 80s.
Yeah, it's like really living in that moment aesthetically, and like but like, again, Star Wars exists, like, right? Like, we don't need more of that. Why wouldn't these kids just watch one of the 5 million Star Wars shows that exist? Mm-hmm. Why would they watch this? Unless they cared about Toy Story. But if you did care about Toy Story, this is a miserable time. This movie cost...
Oh, you did find something.
I did find something. What I found out is ridiculous, that this movie cost $200 million to make, which is an insane amount of money. And it made worldwide in theaters made $222 million. So it was a success, but
they wouldn't call that a success.
Yeah, in terms of like Disney, that's a hard F failure. Like, they were expecting this to be a $1 billion movie.
Well, gosh, maybe if there was something in it for kids. I mean, frankly.
More so than anything else, it made me want to watch WALL-E again.
I think I have a few of the same problems with WALL-E, honestly.
But WALL-E has like a a reason to exist as art.
Well, yeah. WALL-E also has a moral to it that that Lightyear doesn't. WALL-E has a very actionable moral, a very useful moral about environmentalism.
Yeah, and like also like WALL-E is saying like WALL-E also because of how its story is structured has a lot to say about like love and like why it matters. Like I do have to tell you this because I don't know if you know, because this took me by surprise. There is a post-credits scene for this movie.
So I did know that, but I only found it out because I turned this off during the credits because nothing really was happening in the credits.
Yeah, same.
I found it out because Jamie was on the TV tropes for this movie, and she found it. So apparently there are like 3 post-credit scenes.
Are you shitting me?
That's what I read. There are like 2 jokes and 1 reveal that Zurg is still alive. Whatever, shrug.
That is ridiculous. I mean, like, yeah, I guess that definitely proves to me that they were expecting this to be a franchise potential.
Well, it wouldn't make any sense if there was the video game where Buzz Lightyear fights Zurg if Zurg was dead.
Okay, yeah, I do want to go back to the beginning, right? Like, this is the movie that convinced Andy he wanted a Buzz Lightyear toy for Christmas.
Are you fucking sure you didn't fall asleep, Andy? We didn't talk about this, really, but like, in the opening scene, Buzz Lightyear is dressed as Buzz Lightyear. And then, for most of the rest of the movie, he's not.
Yes.
He will eventually get his Space Ranger gear back on, but for a while, he's just dressed like a normal astronaut. And why? He's on an alien planet that's constantly attacking him. For what reason? It's already a spacesuit. And I know the reason. It's that this was supposed to be a serious movie. But that's a bad reason.
It's a terrible reason. But like what I was gonna say is like I think the beginning of this movie is a lie. I don't think this movie convinced Andy of anything. Because I went to Target the day after I watched that movie and I saw a Lightyear branded Buzz Lightyear toy sitting next to a classic Toy Story branded Buzz Lightyear toy. And immediately I was like, why the fuck would I ever buy a toy where Buzz is in his normal ass spacesuit? What the fuck? No, it doesn't even have karate chop action. He never karate chops anything in this movie, by the way.
No, he doesn't. He karate chops the air a little bit when he's alone. That's what happens. This movie so does not want him to be like a fucking Captain Kirk-esque hero, but it's what he needs to be in order for this movie to work.
It's what he's supposed to be. He's supposed to just be Captain Kirk.
Maybe a little less fucky.
Yeah, sure. I mean, maybe not, right? Why not? This movie could have been anything in the world, but what it wanted to be was 2-bit Star Wars with less happening. I feel like I have not seen a Pixar movie that resonated with me in so long. And I feel like part of the problem is that I'm older. I'm just an older person. I am no longer as attracted to these kinds of stories anymore. And I'm always just willing to go back and watch the ones I watched when I was a kid. But I also feel like as time goes on, the people who are in charge of making big decisions for what these movies need to be is we're going through a generational change. And I think there are people at Pixar who want to make truly diverse and new stories that appeal to younger generations. Stuff like Turning Red and Luca, which I haven't seen, but I've heard really good things about. But then you have like Incredibles 2 and Lightyear and stuff that's being made by like the old guard that just it fundamentally shows me that like you guys are no longer are asking interesting questions because you're just not there emotionally anymore. And that's sad. I feel like there are some creators who can go on their entire lives and still find curious things to talk about. And then you just have stuff like Onward, which I just didn't give a shit about. Like, I just don't, like, no part of me wants to watch, like, a teen D&D fantasy movie about why dads matter. Like, I don't need that in my life. And I like my dad, you know, I just I just didn't need it.
I was looking at the list of Pixar movies, and I was thinking, I bet Andy resonated. I bet Coco was good.
So I didn't like Coco.
I thought you told me you cried during Coco.
I did.
But you didn't like it. Okay.
I didn't like Coco. So here's the thing.
I guess I just assumed that the powerful emotional reaction meant positive things.
I have a lot of complicated feelings about Coco, and I don't think I could get into them because it would take me like an hour to talk about it.
we don't need to get into it. That's unnecessary. It's just like, well, if you weren't into Coco, then it has to be like years and years, even before Coco came out, that you last watched a Pixar movie that you liked. Because it wasn't The Good Dinosaur, and it probably wasn't Finding Dory.
I liked Toy Story 4. I did. But Toy Story 4 is like not a movie that's for kids. That's a movie that was made for me specifically.
For adults who grew up watching Toy Story.
Yeah, like that's a movie that's like, hey man, it's time to let go. And I was like, you're right, it is. And then Lightyear comes out and I was like, I thought we let go. What happened? I thought we were letting go.
Thank you for listening to Direct Video
VHS.
I have been your host, Tony Robusto.
I have been your host, Andy Reyes.
You can find me on Twitter at TheaterBets or at inspiredbytrueevents.org.
You can find me on Twitter at royalty_Valens, or you can find me at my other podcast, timehonoredpictures.com, where we just wrapped up Rebecca. And I think after that, we're watching The Grapes of Wrath.
When are you going to get to a space adventure?
Ooh. You know, never?
I think maybe never.
Maybe never? We don't get to watch a fantasy movie until Lord of the Rings 3.
Wild.
With the third one. And we're not planning to watch the first two in preparation.
Well, I mean, it would take 9 hours.
It's so much movie. Yeah, we'll just watch the third one. Like, I hear it's good, so I hope it holds up without the first two. Man, I haven't seen this movie.
Okay, I was gonna say I had to check that was a joke.
I haven't seen those movies since I was in high school.
Yeah, me neither.
Because who has the time?
Oh, honestly, you went to like a real college. I feel like college is the place where you see those movies because somebody just puts them on. It's like we're gonna stay up all night.
I was invited no less than 3 times to a Lord of the Rings extended edition watch party, and I went to none of them because I had homework to do and anime to watch and video games to play.
Which I guess tells you all you need to know about Andy.
It's true. I don't do any of those things now. And I just sit here and I watch Lightyear all the time.
You can find the podcast at direct2.video. You can leave us a review on iTunes.
We appreciate 5 stars.
Or whatever your podcatcher is. That's not iTunes. If they have reviews on those, probably they do, sometimes, somewhere.
I know Spotify does. They have like a thing, like a thumbs up or something.
Okay. We're on Spotify, I think. I think I went to the trouble of putting us on Spotify at some point.
I have not done that. I just started using iTunes as my podcast app, and it's terrible. I hate it so much, but...
Yeah, don't do that.
But the other one wasn't getting updated anymore, so it didn't work.
And thank you, Roosevelt, for Planet E off the album Trappist 1.
Trappist 1. I thought this was going to be more fun than it was.
Yeah, me too. This was surprisingly a bit of a letdown. I want to say, I was ready to enjoy this movie.
Yeah, same. I wanted to like it.
I've been hearing some bad stuff about it, and I figured it was mostly, like, passive-aggressive people who wanted just another Toy Story movie. But it just wasn't good.
Yeah, I hadn't even heard anything about it. I was just like, oh, wow, this movie, like, came and went. That's not good. What are we doing next time? Can we do Hercules now?
I was gonna ask if you wanted to do Hunchback.
Ooh, that's also a good one. Back to the roots.
I'll tell you the problem with Hunchback, and we're gonna obviously get into it when we get into it. But, you know what? Why don't we stop the podcast?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm gonna watch it, right? Let's watch it. Let's watch it.
I am the ghost of John Smith.
Ooh. I am absolutely down to watch Hunchback of Notre Dame and Hunchback of Notre Dame 2.
At least Hunchback of Notre Dame 2 is going to be terrible in a way that is, like, laughable, right?
I hope so, but I also, like, I haven't seen the Hunchback of Notre Dame, I think, ever.
Really?
Yeah, and you would think, right? Because, like...
Because I met you, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we do this podcast together.
Yeah, because we do this podcast. And also just, like, I watched so much Disney shit growing up.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I don't think I ever had any interest in it.
Well, that's fair, because, and I want you to be able to form your own opinion, but I think it's kind of a bad movie.
I mean, if you're a Catholic in the United States, you were either obsessed with that or Prince of Egypt, and I was a Prince of Egypt kid all the way.
I see. The bad guy in Hunchback is the
cardinal.
The cardinal, so it's not like the best view of the Catholic Church.
No.